Alright guys, welcome back to Our World Outdoors. And we're going to do the January update on solar, power bill, and all the changes and stuff we've got coming up. So, excuse me. Current month, $63.76. A little higher than we had hoped. But you got to figure that Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all those had a part in this. Now, the kilowatt usage was 465. And as always, I'd like to point out that it says my supplier charges are $22.90. That's the electric I used. The delivery charge is $40.86. Now, this year we used 465 in January. Last year we used 906 kilowatt hours. So we're pulling at being just about half of what we used last year, which is awesome. No complaints. Pretty much the coldest month of the year for us. Maybe next bill might be about the same. But, you know, it is what it is. The solar hasn't been able to do much to help us out this month because we keep getting these blasts of snow and ice and snow and ice and ice and snow. And then it'll sleet and freeze on the panels and really blocks it out. Even if I'm up there sweeping them off, they have a hard time thawing back out because the temperature's gotten so cold. Now, with that said, we're starting to get a thaw out, but I'm going to be showing you guys some projects later on, and I'll remind you then too, but a lot of my projects are getting put on hold right now because the temperatures keep bottoming out. We hit like -5 or 6 last week, and then this upcoming week they're talking about a cold blast, a polar vortex coming down from up north, and it may catch us and hit us anywhere from -5 to -40 again. So we got to just kind of watch out, and I'm not going to be able to do a lot of crazy stuff anytime soon. Alright, so you know this is my favorite part. We scored great on their little email thing saying we used 60% less electricity than their most efficient homes. They're most efficient. Okay? So any house in my area within, I think it's 10 miles, the most efficient ones they've got, we're using 60% less electricity than them. Now, in my area, the most efficient similar homes are using 1,173 kilowatt hours. That's their average. That's what AEP's numbers are. Now, mind you, these efficient homes can also be homes that have gas to heat with. So this is not really a fair comparison, because if you went to an electric home, I think that number would be a bit higher. So we use the 465 kilowatt hours. So we're pretty much killing it on that note. So give me a minute here. I'll flip you around and we'll show you some of the things we've got coming up and how the grid ties are doing and so on. Alright, so we're out in the rabbitry now. This is kind of where I store my solar stuff. It's not in use. And we have picked up 5 Trina Solar 235 watt panels. We actually bought 10. A gentleman in Columbus was selling these. He had bought a pallet. And me and a really good friend of mine went half on 10 of these. Now we'll be getting his house set up here soon, and possibly may be able to do some hydro out of his place. But I'll try and talk to him, get him talked into maybe letting us film some of it. And then over here, we have a 180 watt panel. This is a eBay buy, and it came, stupid door, and it came in, and it registers voltage, but it won't put out any power. No watts, no amps. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So that's probably junk, but we'll have to look at it more. And then over here, of course, we got the two GCI 285 watt panels that still need to go up. More than likely, these are going to be for heating hot water. But lots of panels to get put up and in place. These 5 are going to be hooked to a charge controller and some batteries, and we're going to start running some designated circuits in the house off of them. I'm just in the process now of trying to find a place where I can put these where I don't have to climb on a roof to clean them off, and also trying to just get the equipment together, you know, the inverter, charge controller, and all those goodies. But those will be part of an upcoming video. So let's go over here to the wood burner building and see what the grid tie for the front 2 panels is doing. Okay, guys. As you can see, she's running like a mad girl. It's kind of warm in here because this is the wood burner building. So, you know, just so you guys can kind of see why my electric bill is kind of lower. That's a wood burning furnace. Now, because of the housing structure I live in, insurance won't let me have this inside my house. So we built a small building out here. I think it's 8 by 10, 8 by 8, something like that. But and put it in it. And basically what happens is it heats and goes up into this plenium. And I've wrapped it with ceramic high heat insulation. It heats the air up. And then I've got ductwork run out of it. And that goes over to my house. All right, runs into my house. Then down here, we've got our return airs. And they come back around this backside. And this box you can see down there, and that's got dual blowers. So everybody that wants to say, well, he's got a wood burn, that's why his electric bill is low. No. I'm running dual blowers, blowing this heat in my house. Carrying heat in your house with air is the most inefficient way to do it, honestly. So all the ambient heat in here in this room, because it's about 95 degrees in here, doesn't do anything for my house. A wood burner in my house, yes, but I'm using electric. Now to run both those two, it uses about 1/4 kilowatt an hour, 250 watts per hour continuously, pretty much. Now in the spring, the fall, this thing has a switch on it that you can adjust it to on the front damper there, that when it comes up to temperature it shuts off. But generally once it starts to get around 20 degrees outside, we just turned it up and it just runs pretty much all day and all night. So this is probably the most of what our electric bill comes from right here. Okay, let's go inside the house. We'll check out the other grid ties, and then I'll show you a couple of the other projects we're working on. All right, guys, we got a moment here where it's not running like crazy, but they've been running all morning. Like I said, throughout these last 4 storms that have hit us every other day or every 2 days, there's been a bunch of ice. There they go. But as you can hear, they're pumping today, and I'm happy. That's like, I really need to make a cover for this because it can get kind of loud when all 3 of them start to hum at the same time. Just a cover plate, even to deflect the sound, would help a lot. But really, after a while, you kind of get used to it because it literally sounds like pennies dropping into a piggy bank to us. But they're pumping today. They're doing their thing. So let's go over. I want to show you one last project we're going to be working on here in the next couple months, hopefully when the weather gets better. Okay, guys, this is one of the last projects. I do want to mention we're still working on the solar heater, but obviously with the weather, you know, we need a good, clear, solid, clean day to get, you know, multiple panels hooked up together to hook to it. So it's kind of been set on the back burner until weather breaks some. But this was a score seen by my wife. As she was driving down the road one day, she saw a treadmill sitting there, and just on the chance that it might be good, She grabbed it. We pulled the motor out of it and scrapped the rest of it. So it wasn't a loss even if it wasn't bad, but the motor ended up being good. And it is a DC PM motor, 2 horsepower, 10 amps, 90 volts, with a clockwise rotation and a 4,700 RPM rating. Now this motor is for 4-house motor, and it's made exclusively for Sportscraft. I've played with it some. It's not, by hand turning it, I can get it up to above 12 volts. So it definitely has some ability to be used for either wind or hydro, or maybe you can hook it to a bicycle for charging. There's lots of different things we can use it for. I haven't quite decided exactly in what form we're going to use it. Looking for these, we're always on the lookout for these because buying them is insane. I mean, that motor, even on Craigslist, eBay used, is going to be close to $100. But for things like wind and hydro, I'm not going to go out and spend what they want me to pay for the equipment. It's just too much. It may be worth it, but in Ohio, we don't have tons of wind, and we don't have any water on our farm. Not that we can tap with this kind of thing. So we'll figure out what we're going to use this for, and you'll be seeing updates on how we use it and what we use it for. But it's just one of them scores I wanted to share with you guys. And obviously, once the weather gets better, things will straighten up, and we'll get back to getting some projects going. So until next time, I'm Tony with Our World Outdoors, and we'll see you.